Alright. Welcome back. We're here on Tunguska. Since getting this conventional reel, and really this setup I got for catfish, if I'm being, transparent, like I really wasn't even thinking about trolling with this setup. But I've had the urge a little bit yesterday and then today to do some trolling here at Tunguska, because it seems like it's, it's still an Arctic char, a bit of an Arctic char grind, but like once you get past that fact, it's a lot of fun. So anyway, this is one of my setups here. We're using the Taiga C with one of the Dodger cranks, and then we'll be able to show you the other setup here. And so I've really, this Vinga, which used to be my, strongest carp reel, it's the only Vinga I have, I now pretty much only use for either if I'm going for something really big like sturgeon or for catfish and trolling. So this is the other line, and what I wanted to sort of point out here is we are using a fluorocarbon leader on this, which gives us a little bit more line, actually a lot more line on the reel, which is just safer, where on this one we're using straight fluorocarbon line. So there's been a lot of discussion, or some discussion lately, with other folks that are here trolling at Tunguska, is trying to figure out what impact leader size has, and the difference in running straight fluorocarbon, which, as you can see, is a lot less spool on the line, even with this conventional reel, which does have a pretty large spool. And of course, if you have one of the even bigger or more expensive conventional reels, then that'll even be better. We've trolled off course here. Let's get back on course. And I'll kind of show you the route we're doing. I haven't ventured up to the other part of the river for trolling in a while, because it's been pretty consistent down here with a combination of Taimen, Nelma, Arctic char, of course, and then occasionally, like, even the pink salmon, which you saw here, and some of the Graylings even will come on these Dodgers. So I'm using the same perch colored Dodger, which I'll show that one more time, on both of these. I do a max cast out, because neither one of these is going to throw these Dodgers that far. And I feel like having it at least a certain distance from the boat is probably a good thing. So that's just kind of what I'm doing. It also saves a little time instead of waiting for, getting up to 90% instead of just hitting shift, left click, and max casting. So let's see where we are on the lake. Yeah, we want to keep moving up this way a little bit. And then this one, let's get the reel speed up. I don't throw as far out, only because I want to be able to get it in pretty quickly when we do get a bite on one of the other lines. This one we're actually using 35 fluorocarbon line and a different Dodger. So I'm really just trying to get some time in to see what the differences are with different leaders, straight fluorocarbon versus... And so I'd love to hear, if you've done a lot of trolling here, what are your thoughts on how are you seeing the bite rates change? Are some species coming in strictly with certain size leaders versus, are you doing any experimentation with straight fluorocarbon line? It can be a little scary. Like if we did straight fluorocarbon line on this reel, you're talking, I don't know, like 50 to 60 meters of line if it's like 27 kilos fluorocarbon line. So you definitely, you're giving up your ability to have more line to play with. But, I don't know if you've noticed this, but it does seem like we get more bites on the straight fluorocarbon line. And I'm not saying that that's definitively the case. I feel like I need to get more time in and do more testing. But I've got these two set up as identical as possible in terms of everything else. And it does feel like I get more bites on the straight fluorocarbon. But even if you do get a few more bites, you are taking a chance. I mean, yesterday I caught this Taimen here which is only 33 kilos. I mean, that's relatively small for a taimen. And I will tell you, I chased it all over the river. In fact, that led me to experimenting with some larger fluorocarbon leaders. Of course, you can get a lot more strength out of some of these reels that I have by going up in leader size. But again, in limited testing, I sort of felt like at that point I wasn't getting the same fish activity. Maybe the fish were responding to having the big, like, 55 kilo fluorocarbon leader on. So I don't know, those are kind of the things we're doing. I also have been and want to continue experimenting with different lures. Obviously, as we move forward week to week, it'll be interesting to see which lures emerge at different times. But I will show you here with the cursor kind of what we're doing. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Let's try to get on a straight line here. Yeah, something like that. But basically, you know, we're coming out of camp and we're just trolling this whole section. The main section is the 7.5 to the 12. I actually have been taking it all the way down here because what I found is sometimes in this transition area and then into the deeper area, sometimes some pretty interesting fish. Some of the, like, other species of fish I feel like are sometimes coming in down there. So that's been, it felt like worthwhile. It's always important to look at the temps. So it's a little cooler today, and then a couple days overcast and cooler again. Sometimes the Nelma are a little more active, it feels like, in the cooler temps so far in limited experience. And I also want to spend some more time up here. What I've been doing primarily in the late evening, overnight time, is sort of jigging some of the quicker lures on the 11-meter hole and doing okay on getting some catfish. It's kind of a good end to the day of trolling. Now, as you saw, we started this video at like 11 a.m. and you know, this is the first I've played today, so I'm not gonna really be able to show you kind of what a full day of trolling looks like. But we'll try to hopefully catch a couple of nice fish. It has definitely had some variety in my results. So in one 24-hour period yesterday, I ended up with around 300 silver. And then in the next 24-hour period, I ended up with 800 silver. So it seems like there can be some pretty large swings. Part of what I'm wanting to do is again, trying to get dialed in on leader size and setups so that maybe I can cut down on some of that variation. I mean, there's always going to be some randomness. I mean, that taimen I got was worth 150 something silver just by itself. And so that obviously makes a big difference. Now, I think one thing you could do, oh, look at this Nelma coming in, and that's why I like this blue dodger. I feel like at least once a day we get a Nelma on this lure. Now, we also have been catching Nelmas occasionally on the other dodgers. They seem to be really good just across the board. But I feel like this blue dodger is still targeting the Nelma pretty well at times. So another strategy that I want to try, and I think would just sort of make sense, probably a lot of people already do this, and I'll see if I can actually switch to this real quick here, is basically going to an ultralight, which if I truly want to go to ultralight, I have to go to this. Let me see what the setup is right now. 6.4. Just throw the blue spiker in. So we'll try this. This is actually ultralight. And I would think that a lot of people, I mean, you've got your two big spinning or casting rigs sort of on the sides. Here's an example of an East Grayling. And again, sometimes you catch some nice East Graylings even on these big lures, which is kind of fun. But yeah, I mean, so we'll throw this out and we'll just see kind of what the activity's like. You run the same risk though. I mean, the downside of having that big blue dodger out in my third rod is obviously if I hit into a really big taimen or Nelma, there's nowhere for me to put that down to then go you know, maneuver the boat and chase it. I mean, it's your third rod, so you're just holding it. So, you know, you stop the boat or you turn the boat, right? Just troll after it. But you just kind of hope for the best. I think that's another Nelma. And this is what you're looking for when the temps go down just a little bit. Like, the more Nelma you catch during the day, the higher your silver total is going to be for sure. Really good silver fish, really good experience on those fish. So we're getting into that later afternoon. The bite rate may pick up to a degree where it's hard to even get that third line in the water. And big kudos to Razor Freak, one of my buds that hangs out on stream and in our in-game chat, and definitely has helped me think through some of these things that we're experimenting with. All right, let's see if we can get this ultralight in the water. And also, I might forget his name. Was it Mage? Might have messaged him last night. Let's see if I've got Mace King. Mace King was killing it out here yesterday doing trolling on Tunguska as well. So it's always nice to have folks that are, you know, we're sharing information together, figuring out different strategies to approach trolling Tunguska. Yeah, we haven't had anything come on this ultralight. But the reason why I've been holding the third Dodger in hand is, again, just trying to get an extra Nelma or two during the day. This is something you don't see too much of, but occasionally the pike will come out here in the middle of the river. But I feel like on an ultralight, I mean, there's still that random chance that a tieman or something else is going to hit your ultralight, and you're going to be in just as much trouble as you would be, you know, with something on your big line. So I don't know. I'd have to give this some testing to see if in terms of silver and XP, is it better just to run that third line and kind of take the chance with the third Dodger out there, or whatever lures you're using? Or is it better to do the ultralight, get that bonus XP, and hopefully catch some of the really valuable smaller species that are in the water? So far, I just haven't seen like we've been getting a very good bite rate on it. One thing we could do is try, I really like where is it? This one, the Spiker 2. Now again, it's been a while since I've done this. Oh, we're right up on the end of the river here. All right, we've got a little longer. We'll turn around. But I have liked using this Spiker some as well. Alright, so we'll go ahead and switch these around here. But it's definitely, you know, again, I say this all the time about this game, but there's so much variety in the type of fishing you can do. It's been a really good change of pace. We've done okay at amber lately, but it's been nice to sort of just completely mix things up and do some spin fishing for a while. As you can see, so many Arctic char, and especially when you're getting the non-markers, it just happens. Just happens sometimes. I'd love to see something pop on this ultralight just to get an idea of the type of fish we're catching. Although with lower temps, and you know the Nelma are biting, it's even more of a reason to possibly just really try to target those. So not a marker, but that's definitely one of those fish that you're hoping you'll catch on the ultralight, or those graylings. Again, such good silver and XP. So real quick, let's see if we can steal a glance. This is sort of the setup I've been using in the evenings with these quickers. And I'm still not sure on really the ideal. I haven't done enough. If anybody has any thoughts on this, but sort of the ideal jig size on going after the catfish and burbot and stuff at night. We definitely could go down in our leader size there a little bit. We've got a little too much strength on that potentially. I think I've got another one set up. It's the Model 1, right? Yeah, this is also set up with the quicker with straight fluorocarbon line. This one's got a large 2 jig on there. Sorry, offset hook. So just trying to figure out the best. Oh, this is set up for jigging. That's right. So I've got 2 Texas rigs and then a 3rd jigging. So what's the other Texas rig on? That's the other one we've got in the... Oh, it's right here. Yeah. So 2 large 2 offset hooks with the jigging. Sorry, with the Texas hook. And then I had a 6 hook on the jigging. I think the Texas rig and the offset hooks have been a little better for me going for the cats, but I still definitely feel like I need to get dialed in on those. And we are going downstream now. I don't know that it makes a difference, and it could be my imagination, but I feel like I've had the best fishing has potentially been when we've been going upstream, so at a little slower pace, versus now moving with the current. I guess that one was a marker. And again, I think I will... Is that like a baby? Oh, it's a pink salmon. I think I will go... After this video, I may do a little bit of testing up in the northern part of the river. I just know it's been so good down here. That's kind of what's kept me down here recently. And even with sort of using the same Dodger cranks, you know, at the end of a full day, you still have so many different varieties of fish, at least a couple more than what we have now. There's a little perch. Something bounced off of that line. And we continue, I feel like, to have a little bit higher bite rate over here on the straight fluorocarbon line. So it's just kind of how brave do you want to be with not having much line on your spool. But if you have some of the, you know, the Vinga, Tagara, Megara, I mean, if you have some of those big spinning reels, thankfully you can still get a lot of line, which does help, even with straight fluorocarbon. You could also go down in strength a little bit, 27, I think some people have been doing 21, 22, kind of in that range. It's just going to be such a fight. Even at 27, it's such a fight on the larger Nelma or Timon. So even in this shortened day, this hasn't been too bad. The Nelmas really add up. The Arctic Char add up. I mean, it's hard not to at least make a little silver doing this, even if you don't get a full day in. And if you can average 2 or 3 cats or decent burbot at night, that's definitely going to top you off on a really nice day of silver in XP. Should have done that much sooner. We want to turn around pretty soon here. The old Broad Whitefish. As soon as we stopped the trolling motor, 2 fish popped on. We're about to flip around anyway. But I'm a big fan of this conventional reel. If I get another one, I've thought about saving up for the one of the Cardinal models. I don't really feel the need to like go for the big one at this point, but I really like the look of the Cardinals. This was definitely the affordable one. I think this one's around 10K silver, where Cardinal might be closer to 20, 25, something like that. I'm not sure. Decent fish. I'd say by about 11 p.m. I would normally switch to the catfish. Although sometimes you'll get a big fish on this time of day or a little earlier than this. And so if you're chasing it around the river, it might interfere with some of your catfish, normal catfish time. Alright, I think that'll about wrap it up then. Another nice day trolling Tunguska. Let's see, we got about, what, 25 minutes in. And, you know, making money for sure. Having fun and making silver. Okay, thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any thoughts, comments, what your experience has been like. And we're going to keep tinkering around, see if we can get even more dialed in. And I'll be back soon. Thanks a lot.